The Big Bang Theory once brought endless laughter, deep friendships, and heartwarming stories that touched audiences everywhere. But behind that glittering success were losses no one could have predicted. Some left quietly, others vanished suddenly. Let's take a moment to honor them and remember the legacy they left behind. Let's go. Stephen Hawking as himself. At the age of 70, Stephen Hawking appeared as the brilliant physicist in The Big Bang Theory in 2012. He gave audiences witty exchanges with Sheldon Cooper, sometimes through video calls, sometimes in person, always revolving around scientific topics that made viewers both laugh and marvel. Yet behind those brief but unforgettable appearances was a man who had spent his entire life battling a devastating illness. Stephen William Hawking, born on January 8, 1942, in Oxford, England, was a promising PhD student when he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, at the age of 21. Doctors at the time gave him only 2 years to live, but he defied every prediction, extending his fight for 55 years. Over time, he lost the ability to move, relied on a wheelchair, and after a tracheotomy in 1985, depended entirely on a speech-generating device. His health continued to decline, with recurrent bouts of pneumonia, yet in the darkness of illness, Hawking devoted himself wholly to science, publishing over a dozen books, including A Brief History of Time, which sold more than 10 million copies and became a cultural phenomenon. On March 14, 2018, Stephen Hawking passed away at the age of 76, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $20 million and an immeasurable intellectual legacy. The image of his wheelchair paired with the synthetic voice has become an eternal symbol, a reminder of a great mind who gazed at the universe while his body was imprisoned and still managed to smile. Carol Ann Susi as Debbie Wolowitz. At 55, Carol Ann Susi became the legendary voice of Debbie Wolowitz in The Big Bang Theory in 2007. Across about 40 episodes, she never fully appeared on screen, yet with her high-pitched, boisterous voice and hilariously overbearing lines, she turned the character into an unforgettable fixture for fans. But just when many were hoping to see her appear in person, tragedy struck unexpectedly. Carol Ann Susi was born on February 2, 1952, in Brooklyn, New York. After her marriage ended, she chose to live alone, quietly pursuing her passion for acting. Those years were far from easy. She struggled to land roles, taking on all sorts of projects from television to theater, often playing small but colorful characters. Still, her humor and charm made her memorable in shows like Seinfeld and Cheers. A long-standing smoking habit, woven into the fast-paced life of an actor, became her silent enemy, leading to a diagnosis of advanced lung cancer just months before her death. Susi kept the news private, continuing her voice work until the very end, as if unwilling to let audiences or colleagues see her in a weakened state. On November 11, 2014, Carol Ann Susi passed away at the age of 62, with an estimated net worth of around $500,000. Her death stunned both the cast and fans. As a tribute, the writers had Debbie Wolowitz's character also pass away in Season 8, creating a heartbreaking moment for Howard and the audience alike. The image of an empty dining table and a voice forever silenced remains an unforgettable memory for viewers. Bob Newhart as Arthur Jeffries, Professor Proton. At the age of 84, Bob Newhart took on the role of Professor Proton, the master of deadpan humor in The Big Bang Theory. His portrayal brought audiences science demonstrations that were both hilarious and unexpectedly touching. Later, the character even returned as a dream mentor, leaving a lasting impression on fans. Yet behind those warm laughs was a life marked by both the brilliance of success and the ache of profound loss. George Robert Newhart was born on September 5, 1929, in Oak Park, Illinois, USA. From a bored accountant, he switched to comedy, launching a legendary career that spanned over half a century with The Bob Newhart Show and Newhart. His personal life had long been considered a model of Hollywood happiness. Married to Virginia Ginny Quinn for 60 years, raising 4 children together. But in 2023, tragedy struck when Ginny passed away from end-stage liver cancer, leaving a deep void in his heart. Friends said Newhart sank into a profound loneliness, though he tried to maintain his trademark calm demeanor. In 2018, he had suffered a fall down the stairs, breaking bones but recovering with determination. He quit smoking in 1985 after a health scare, but kept his love for golf and stand-up comedy. In his early career, he admitted to a mild alcohol dependence, a byproduct of stage pressure, but later gave it up to preserve his craft. On July 18, 2024, Bob Newhart passed away at his Los Angeles home at the age of 94, after a series of short-term age-related illnesses, including heart failure and respiratory issues. He left behind an estimated net worth of $65 million and a monumental artistic legacy spanning television and film. Carrie Fisher as herself. Carrie Fisher appeared in The Big Bang Theory in 2014 at the age of 58, playing herself in a brief but hilarious scene where James Earl Jones and Sheldon pull a ding-dong ditch prank on her. Though her screen time was short, Fisher's signature wit and sharp satirical delivery made the moment unforgettable. Yet behind that lighthearted cameo was a life shadowed by private pain, carefully masked beneath the glare of fame. Carrie Frances Fisher was born on October 21, 1956, in Beverly Hills, California, into a glamorous yet turbulent showbiz family. Her mother was film legend Debbie Reynolds, her father singer Eddie Fisher. From childhood, she endured the crushing pressure of fame, living as both the daughter of legends and a woman fighting to prove herself. In 1980, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a mental illness that left her navigating extreme depression and mood swings. To escape the emptiness, she turned to drugs, starting cocaine use at 21 during Star Wars filming, and later abusing prescription medications. In 1985, she survived a suicide attempt via drug overdose. Her personal struggles were further complicated by a deep yet conflicted relationship with her mother, a bond so intense that tragedy reached its peak when Debbie Reynolds died just one day after her daughter, reportedly from grief. On December 27, 2016, Carrie Fisher died at the age of 60, 4 days after going into cardiac arrest following a mid-flight stroke on her return from London to Los Angeles. Toxicology reports revealed traces of multiple drugs and alcohol in her system, haunting reminders of a lifetime spent battling her demons. She left behind an estimated net worth of $25 million and an irreplaceable cultural legacy. The proud, defiant Princess Leia, a pop culture icon, and the story of a woman brave enough to speak her truth about the darkness in her life, inspiring millions. Stan Lee as himself. At the age of 87, Stan Lee appeared in The Big Bang Theory in 2010, playing himself in a humorous scene where Sheldon barges into his house, only to be promptly thrown out. That brief moment not only thrilled fans, but also evoked the image of the Marvel old man with his mischievous smile, always making surprise appearances to bring joy. Yet behind the spotlight were his final years, filled with tragedy and quiet battles that even Stan Lee could not escape. Stanley Martin Lieber was born on December 28, 1922 in New York City, and grew up in a poor immigrant family during the Great Depression. His parents frequently argued over money, and from a young age, he had to work various odd jobs to help support the family. His path into comics began with an $8 a week assistant job at a relative's company, which would later become Marvel Comics. He went on to create a host of iconic superheroes such as Spider-Man, Hulk, and X-Men. Ironically, Lee never held ownership rights to his characters. As old age approached, especially after the death of his wife of 69 years, Joni, in 2017, Stan Lee became increasingly vulnerable. He was caught in a whirlwind of lawsuits and accusations of financial exploitation by his own manager and daughter. Shocking stories surfaced in 2018, including the bizarre claim that his blood had been stolen to sign comic books for sale to fans. These incidents not only drained his finances, but also left him living in loneliness and mental strain during his final years. On November 12, 2018, Stan Lee passed away in Los Angeles from pneumonia and congestive heart failure at the age of 95. His net worth was estimated at around $50 million, mostly from the Marvel legacy, cameo appearances in the MCU, and book sales. The image of the silver-haired man with the playful smile and twinkling eyes behind his glasses remains an immortal symbol in the world of superheroes. James Earl Jones as himself. James Earl Jones joined The Big Bang Theory at the age of 83 in 2014, Season 7, appearing as himself in a series of mischievous antics with Sheldon that had audiences laughing out loud. With his deep, resonant voice, commanding presence, and natural humor, Jones turned his brief appearance into an unforgettable highlight. But behind that legendary voice lay a life marked by loss and severe challenges from an early age. James Earl Jones was born on January 17, 1931, in Arkabutla, Mississippi, into a family that broke apart when his parents left, leaving him to be raised by his grandmother. Growing up under her strict care and without the affection of his parents, Jones also faced a crippling challenge: a severe stutter that left him nearly silent throughout his high school years. Yet within that darkness, he found the strength to change his fate. Through persistent practice and turning to the art of theater as an escape, Jones gradually overcame his speech impediment, transforming his greatest weakness into one of the most powerful tools of his career. His deep, clear, and commanding voice made him shine on Broadway before conquering the screen with iconic roles such as Darth Vader in Star Wars and Mufasa in The Lion King. On September 9, 2024, James Earl Jones passed away at the age of 93 due to complications from diabetes. He left behind an estimated net worth of $40 million, a monumental artistic legacy, and a voice that remains irreplaceable. His image will forever live on in the memories of millions. Adam West as himself. At the age of 87, Adam West played himself in The Big Bang Theory in 2016, Season 9. His wit, mischievous smile, and calm demeanor made audiences both laugh and feel the charisma of the once caped crusader. But behind the glamour of the bat mask was a life full of upheavals, filled with glory, temptations, and dark years that few truly knew. William West Anderson, born on September 19, 1928 in Walla Walla, Washington, became a global icon after portraying Batman in the hit 1960s television series. However, the immense success of that role turned out to be a double-edged sword, typecasting him and making it nearly impossible to escape the shadow of the Dark Knight. When the doors to serious roles closed, West spiraled into unemployment, depression, and alcoholism during the 1970s. Even so, he sought to reinvent himself through comedic roles, appearances at comic conventions, and especially a successful voice acting career, leaving his mark on works such as Family Guy and animated Batman projects. Beneath his sophisticated demeanor was a consummate ladies' man, famed for his hedonistic lifestyle during the swinging 60s. A colorful personal life that former co-star Burt Ward once revealed through unbelievable anecdotes. On June 9, 2017, Adam West passed away at the age of 88 from leukemia, just months after being diagnosed. He left behind an estimated net worth of about $8 million, largely from Batman, convention appearances, and voice work. The image of the hero in the Batsuit, Adam West's gentle smile, and his warm, deep voice will live on in the memories of generations. Leonard Nimoy as Spock. Voice. At the age of 81, Leonard Nimoy appeared in The Big Bang Theory in 2012, lending his voice to the character Spock in Sheldon's dream. Yet that alone was enough to thrill Star Trek fans worldwide. This unexpected appearance served as a bridge between two generations, sitcom, and sci-fi, while evoking the iconic image that had been tied to Nimoy for over half a century. Leonard Simon Nimoy, born on March 26, 1931 in Boston, Massachusetts, faced a health tragedy that spanned nearly half his life, a long-term addiction to cigarettes. He began smoking at a young age, seeing it as a way to relieve stress during filming days and the pressures of work. For 30 years, cigarettes were his constant companion, from behind the scenes on set to quiet moments in daily life. It wasn't until 1985 that Nimoy resolved to quit, but by then, the damage to his lungs was irreversible. Years later, these hidden injuries developed into chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, which steadily shortened his breath and forced him to limit his artistic activities. It was a bitter price Nimoy paid for what once seemed like a harmless, youthful habit. On February 27, 2015, Leonard Nimoy died at the age of 83, leaving behind an estimated net worth of about $45 million, largely from his Star Trek legacy and other artistic projects. The image of a raised hand giving the Vulcan salute, accompanied by the phrase "Live long and prosper," has transcended the screen, becoming Nimoy's eternal message to the world. Jessica Walter as Mrs. Latham. At the age of 69, Jessica Walter appeared in The Big Bang Theory in 2011. She played Mrs. Latham, a wealthy, intelligent, and equally captivating benefactress who put Leonard in a situation that was both humorous and awkward. Though her appearance was brief, it was enough for audiences to feel the refined, distinctive acting style that had become Jessica Walter's trademark. Jessica Walter, born on January 31, 1941 in Brooklyn, New York, grew up in an artistic family. Her father was an internationally renowned violinist, and her mother was a Russian immigrant. She began studying acting at an early age and quickly revealed her natural talent. However, behind the glamour of the stage and screen, Walter's personal life was far from serene. Her first marriage to stage manager Ross Bowman lasted from 1966 to 1978, before ending in divorce. Years later, she found new happiness with actor Ron Leibman, and the two remained together for 36 years, until his death in 2019. Yet the joy of family life was overshadowed by the pain of her only daughter's struggle with drug addiction, a wound that remained difficult to heal in a mother's heart. Although she rarely spoke publicly about this pain, those close to her knew it was one of the deepest shadows in her life, standing in stark contrast to the strong, witty, and sharp image she projected on screen. On March 24, 2021, Jessica Walter passed away in her sleep at the age of 80. She left behind an estimated net worth of about $4 million, largely from the success of Arrested Development and other television projects. The image of a woman with piercing eyes, a sly smile, and a dynamic, multi-layered performance style will remain an unforgettable memory for her fans. Brian Turk as Tiny. Brian Turk was 39 years old when he appeared in The Big Bang Theory in 2009, Season 3. He played Tiny, a giant straight out of a comic book, bringing audiences a moment that was both humorous and memorable. Although it was only a small role, Turk's presence still radiated the down-to-earth charm he had shown in many television and film appearances. Born on May 29, 1970 in Colorado, Brian Turk had a steady career with many memorable supporting roles in Carnival, 2.5 Men, Criminal Minds, and American Pie 2. However, his life took a tragic turn in 2018 when he was diagnosed with brain cancer. At first, Turk remained hopeful, undergoing treatments and spending time with his family, but the disease quickly progressed to its final stage. Throughout his year-long battle with the illness, the greatest pain he endured was not only physical, but also the emotional reality of leaving behind his wife and their 8-year-old son, a truth that made his final months all the more heartbreaking. On September 13, 2019, Brian Turk passed away at the age of 49, leaving an estimated net worth of about $500,000. The image of a towering man with a warm presence, along with his down-to-earth yet genuine roles, will remain in the memories of audiences and those who loved him. Jim Parsons as Sheldon Cooper. Jim Parsons took on the role of Sheldon Cooper, a quirky yet irresistibly charming theoretical physicist, in The Big Bang Theory in 2007, when he was just 34 years old. His wit in every line and his ability to portray a difficult yet lovable character turned Parsons into an icon of modern sitcoms. Born on March 24, 1973 in Houston, Texas, Jim Parsons grew up in a middle-class family in the American South. His childhood was peaceful, shaped by his introverted nature and an early passion for science. However, life tested Parsons at the height of his career. The intense filming schedule left him exhausted, with less and less time for his family and his partner, Todd Spiewak. The most heartbreaking moment came when his beloved dog, a cherished family member, passed away while he was deeply engrossed in work projects. Taking it for one last walk before a commercial shoot, seeing its tired eyes and feeling the wrenching helplessness became a turning point that completely changed how Parsons viewed life and career. In 2025, at age 52, Jim Parsons has an estimated net worth of about $160 million, mostly from The Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon. After fully recovering from a bout of COVID-19 in 2020, he continued working in film, theater, and television. Though he has moved on from Sheldon Cooper, Parsons remains dedicated to exploring new roles, proving that his artistic journey still holds many secrets yet to be revealed. Johnny Galecki as Leonard Hofstadter. Johnny Galecki portrayed Leonard Hofstadter, a smart yet socially awkward experimental physicist, in The Big Bang Theory in 2007, when he was just 32 years old. He quickly became one half of the iconic duo with Sheldon Cooper. Galecki's humor, emotional depth, and nuanced acting made Leonard one of the most beloved characters over the show's 12 seasons. Born on April 30, 1975, in the town of Brie, Belgium, Johnny Galecki grew up in an American family that moved to Chicago when he was just a few years old. His path in the arts was far from smooth, especially as his personal life was often under scrutiny. At the height of The Big Bang Theory's success, Galecki was repeatedly confronted with rumors about his sexuality. He chose to remain silent, letting his work speak for itself, until he was asked directly on The View in 2010. Instead of reacting negatively, he calmly replied, "Why would I have to defend myself against something that isn't offensive?" Earlier, he had dated co-star Sarah Gilbert, and later, Kaley Cuoco. Both relationships ended amicably, evolving into lasting friendships. But the real tragedy struck in 2017, when his California home burned to the ground, destroying all his belongings. Surviving the incident, Galecki stepped back from the spotlight for a while, finding peace on his private ranch, where he nurtured a passion for nature. In 2025, at age 50, Johnny Galecki has an estimated net worth of about $100 million. He still occasionally appears in film projects, but spends most of his time tending to his ranch and enjoying a serene life, a stark contrast to the awkward Leonard that audiences once knew. Kaley Cuoco as Penny Hofstadter. At the age of 21, Kaley Cuoco joined The Big Bang Theory in 2007 as Penny, the aspiring actress and waitress who became both America's favorite neighbor and the catalyst for countless comedic situations. Over the course of 279 episodes, Penny became one of the most beloved characters on the show, helping Cuoco rise to the ranks of television's A-list stars. Kaley Christine Cuoco, born on November 30, 1985 in Camarillo, California, has experienced many ups and downs in her love life. She married tennis player Ryan Sweeting in 2013, but the marriage ended in tension just 3 years later. She later found happiness with equestrian Carl Cook, yet her second marriage also ended in 2021. Having once vowed she would never get married again, Cuoco unexpectedly changed her mind after meeting actor Tom Pelphrey. The couple got engaged in 2024 after welcoming their daughter Matilda in March 2023. However, the joy of motherhood also brought a wave of online mom-shaming. Cuoco responded head-on, asserting that every mother is doing her best for her child, and that what's good for my kid might not be good for yours. She also openly defended her decision to let her daughter watch a lot of movies, calling it a precious 10 minutes for both mother and child to relax. In 2025, at age 39, Kaley Cuoco has an estimated net worth of about $110 million. Balancing motherhood and a thriving career, she continues to embody the strong, witty, and authentic spirit that made Penny so adored by audiences. Simon Helberg as Howard Wolowitz. At the age of 26, Simon Helberg joined The Big Bang Theory in 2007 as Howard Wolowitz, the quick-witted aerospace engineer with a flashy fashion sense and a personality that was both confident and full of quirks. This character quickly became an essential part of the Four Geniuses ensemble, delivering endless laughs to fans over the show's 12 seasons. Simon Maxwell Helberg, born on December 9, 1980 in Los Angeles, California, grew up in a family of artists. His father, Sandy Helberg, was an actor, and his mother, Harriet B. Helberg, was an actress and casting director. Yet his path to success was far from easy. Before fame, Helberg battled Hollywood's harsh stereotypes, being told he was too specific, not handsome enough, too Jewish, or too short to be a star. He once compared his younger self to Florence Foster Jenkins, blindly pursuing his passion with pure belief until faced with doubts about his talent. These experiences ultimately shaped his resilience and perseverance, enabling him to stand firm in the entertainment industry. In 2025, at age 44, Simon Helberg has an estimated net worth of about $50 million. Continuing his artistic career, he maintains the image of a charming, versatile, and humble actor, someone who once rented a small apartment in Koreatown for 3 months just to practice piano for a role alongside Meryl Streep, proving that for him, passion always comes with the utmost dedication. Kunal Nayyar as Raj Koothrappali. Kunal Nayyar quickly made his mark as Raj Koothrappali, the romantic yet shy astrophysicist who took years to overcome his selective mutism around women, in The Big Bang Theory in 2007, when he was just 26 years old. Over the course of 12 seasons, Raj brought audiences both laughter and heartfelt moments, even though the character's fate in the final episode left many fans feeling wistful. Kunal Nayyar was born on April 30, 1981 in London, England, but spent his childhood and youth in New Delhi, India. After moving to the United States to study business, an unexpected twist led him to pursue acting. When the opportunity to join The Big Bang Theory came, Kunal had to leave his family behind and live in a foreign country with an intense filming schedule, missing countless important family gatherings. While most of his co-stars had relatives nearby, he could only ease his homesickness through hurried video calls between takes. That quiet loneliness became even more poignant when he reflected on Raj's ending on screen, still alone, while in real life, Kunal knew better than anyone the emptiness of not having loved ones close by. In 2025, at age 44, Kunal Nayyar continues acting and working on international television projects. With an estimated net worth of around $45 million, he has transformed from a young man far from home into a globally beloved face, proof that sometimes the toughest journeys are the most meaningful parts of the story, and now those smiles live only in memory. Which of their moments still touches you the most? Share your thoughts and join us in remembering them. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.